Hello YouTube fans, here again, and why not, without ado. A bit of a test, and I remember seeing a lot of people talking about this one, that being Tales from the Tip. That's right, Tales from the Tip. There was a lot of authority souls during the 80s, in the early 80s you had Tales from the Dark Side, late 80s you had Robert England as Freddy Krueger in the TV series, Freddy's Nightmares. I remember reviewing a few of them. You also had Amazing Stories. I remember reviewing all of them. But this one I've never really done. It's Tales from the Crypt, that come out in 1989, and it went on right through the late 90s. It was a skeleton puppet thing, and it used to talk, had an evil laugh, ha 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 ha, every opening, had a very date theme tune to it. And a lot of well-known directors and producers direct this, and not only that, you had a lot of famous people make disappearances in Tales from the Tip. So it was a popular show. And decided to make it big. Now, as we know, in the early 70s, you had Tales from the Tip then. And I could be right, I could be wrong. Come out in 1972, 1973, but it wasn't that successful. You had Joan Jennings in a role with Santa Claus. Which I'll probably get to that when I get to part 2 of Tales from the Tip. So we're going to go with this one. So with this one, the story, it was about a guy, the very, very first story. It's about a guy, and his job is doing electric chair. And I kind of like this because he goes with the barrel. What I mean by breaks the barrel. Now and again, he starts off his executing this poor fellow. He's begging, the judge will win. The judge will call. Then you've got the main character, and he breaks the barrel, and he's talking to us. He's talking to us, the audience, like we're actually there. The judge doesn't ring, and this guy gets an electric chair. And that's basically his job. His job basically is doing electric chair. And it's one of these what would happen if the law was to alter, which it does in this. But it's an authority show. So you basically get what happens is some new laws come out and they want to do away with the electric chair. And people getting executed by the electric chair, human rights and all this. So, great for the scumbags, but bad for him. It means now he's out of a job doing the electric chair. But it's not about money. I think he gets joy out of doing it. He gets to be the judge, he gets to be the juror, and basically he gets rid of scumbags. So there's a bit in it where he's in a pub, he's feeling sorry for himself, and so on. But then he decides, fuck it, he's going to take the law in his own hands. So what happens is, there's these rich people, and they kill the lovers to inherit the money. There's a bit where they need to choose her, and he breaks in, and he says, "You've now been executed," and he electrocutes them, having to choose her. There's this biker, you got an idea, he's killed this lad, and he's got a cocky attitude, and he's about to let himself in these bars. Electrocutes him. But the one of all is about to electrocute this stripper. Doing a lap bar, he's doing a dance and everything. And he's about to electrocute her. Long behold, the fix doesn't work. He's getting pissed off. He's trying to press it again. Why the fuck's it not working? Bobby's coming. For some reason, they must figure out what he was doing. And he gets arrested. But the thing is, they're now altered the law. They're now allowed to do the electric chair again. So he's begging, he's pleading, he's going on about, the judge will call, just like it was at the beginning of the story. Obviously, the judge doesn't talk. He gets electrocuted, brown bread. And that's the end of the first authority story of Tales from the Crypt. So I thought I liked the first story. The first story is not really the best, but it's a good start of it. You've got this guy, he breaks the barrel law. He's going the story all the way through about scumbags. A bit of he's in Las Vegas and he's drinking beer. And he's talking to this barman, which you think you may have seen the barman before. He appeared in Tango and Tass, and I remember rightly, he was in the Dud, I say it again, the Dud Chocorito. This one who's standing talk Arnie taking that tablet, and you think Arnie's about to eat it, and then he shoots him in the head. Well, that's the same actor as well as he played in Tango and Tass. It's like funny because he appears in like a few episodes, the same actor, which funny enough was one day before Chocorito, same name in Tango and Tass come out. But yeah, it's not a bad one. This I do like the skeleton puppet, which just become a main character. He tells the story in it, and I kind of like it. You know, for what it is, for the forestry story, it's not really that bad. Unless you know, the puppet down reminds me of what Robert England did is Freddy's Nightmares, where Robert England presented the show, but he presented it as the character Freddy Krueger. You know, he had the makeup on, the juff, and all that. So for the first story, Tales from the Tip, it wasn't really a bad one. Wasn't a really bad one. But I've got to admit that my favourite one would have to be the second one, the Silent Night one, which to do with a psychopathic Santa Claus, which you could say is a remake of the one with Joan Torrens, the one I just mentioned, which I've got to admit, I've seen the one with Joan Torrens. It's there. It's not bad. But I've got to admit, this one was a lot more better. But I'll get to that when I review the second Tales from the Tip, because I think the second one will be pretty good, as we always in the season to follow up your ducks. It will definitely be a good one to review that one. But yeah, this one, for what it wasn't a bad story. It was definitely a good authority story. It went the hours it was going to go, and for the first authority story, it wasn't a bad one. And like I say, I like the character in it, the one who's doing the electric test. I like the fact that he's breaking the barrel, he's talking to the audience. There's a bit like I say, the opening, guy's begging and pleading, you gotta go to the judge, you gotta call him, and he's begging for his life, and obviously it doesn't happen. I like the bit where he's outside, like I say, he's in Las Vegas, and he's breaking the barrier again. He's talking to you, the audience. But also the bit where he gets electrocuted, he's dead, he's got saliva coming out of his mouth. But then you hear a voiceover saying, the day me the option of giving me an haircut, be like the haircut I've got. And it would have done it a lot faster, but me not thinking, I turned it down. So in other words, it's telling the story that he died a lot more slower, a lot more agonising. He should have listened to what they said and get a slaphead like me. But in real life, we all know it. In real life, people get executed by the electric chair. It's not exactly like you see in that program, but like most horrors where they use electric chair, whether it be House Feed, the other story, whether it be Soccer or other horror movies where they had the electric chair flung into it, it's realistic. I think the only other one that was more realistic would be the Teen Mile. That's a different story. But for what it was, you know, another story. It was an authority, and every one of them had a different story. Like with the Twilight Zone, that's more science fiction. It's more fictional. With how can I put it? The Outer Limits, again, more science fiction, more fictional. Then you get to other authorities. Let's say like how can I put it? Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories, where it was always a mixture. It was a thriller, you had an horror, you had a fantasy one, you had an adventure one. And then Steven Spielberg had to keep it mild because he wanted it for a longer audience. Except for the one I always remember. I always remember the one with the phone killer. I always like that one where he was going around killing women. I always thought that was quite a good one for Steven Spielberg. Like ballsy one that. But this one, I say this is more horror. Tales from the Tip is more horror. And they do get better as they go on. But for the, like I say, without repeating myself, the first authority, Tales from the Tip, what can I say? It was a good one. What you do then? Be smart, be safe. See you later.